have a new garden bed or an annual bed that you regularly plant, you're probably starting to ask yourself a question. How many plants do I need to fill this bed? Buy too many and you're out some money. Buy too few and you're having to return back to the nursery. When I worked for commercial landscaping, we had these huge annual flower beds that we had to plant. And it was critical that we got the right number of plants we needed each year because we were talking about large amounts of money. And we had nurseries that grew exactly how many plants we needed. So we were going to have to buy them whether we ended up using them or not. Now in this situation, we're obviously talking about a little bit smaller of a scale, but it's the exact same process. You're going to use a planting chart to figure out how many plants you need based off of the area of the bed. The first thing we need to do is figure out the area. Now for a rectangle like this, what you're going to do is measure the length times the width of the bed. So here our length is 14 feet long, and then our width is 2 feet. So 2 feet times 14 feet gives us an area, total area for this planting bed of 28 square feet. So 28 is our square foot area for this particular bed. Now you do the length times the width for a rectangle, but if you have a circle, you're going to use the radius of that circle, multiply it times itself, and then times the number pi, or 3.14, and that will give you the area of a circular bed. If you have an irregular shaped bed, then you're going to divide that up between rectangles, squares, and circles, and then calculate all those areas, add them together to get your total planting area for that irregular shaped bed. So here we have 28 square feet. This is our area of our bed. We know our area is 28 square foot. Let's say we're going to plant some annuals that need to be 6 inches apart, and for that we're going to need 4 plants per square foot. So we'll multiply our 28 times 4, and that gives us 112 plants that we'll need to purchase. Let's say you're going to plant your plants 12 inches apart. In that case, you would do your square foot area of 28 times 1 plant, which would tell you that you need to purchase 28 plants. Now again, this is just a bit of a rough estimate, and you might want to go ahead and buy a couple because you never know what the weather or animals and pests might bring and damage some of your plants, so it's nice to have a few extra. But this is a great way to figure out how many plants you might need. Now this planting chart, if you notice, it is based off of the spacing of the plants. We don't talk about any particular type of plant. So that's why it tends to work best with annuals that you might be spacing so far apart. You could mix those annuals if you know that they're going to be on the same spacing. Also, it can work with perennials if you're going to plant those perennials in mass, and again, they rely upon the same spacing. Now again, this is just a rough estimate. You might want to go ahead and buy a few in case you have bad weather that damages some of them or pests come in. You never know. Besides, it doesn't always hurt to have just a few extra plants.
We hope you enjoyed this video. It's part of our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. You can also find even more videos on our OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.